Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. My name is Ellie and this is going to be a spooky October reading vlog. So I am currently back in my own home in Norfolk. If you haven't been following along with my channel, I am kind of in between places at the moment. So me and my husband are in the process of selling our house here in Norfolk so that we can move to Cheshire to be closer to family. And we're in between Cheshire and here because I have to come back here every 2 weeks for work. And we're kind of slowly moving our things up whilst we are trying to get this place sold. So yeah, it's been a whole process. But basically I am back in my own home in Norfolk at the moment, which is very nice. It's lovely to be back here, and we're here because we have quite a few plans with our friends and things this week, so I thought it'd be fun to film because I'm also hoping to do a lot of spooky reading whilst I'm here. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this vlog. In terms of my reading plans, I have literally just finished A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, so I will be talking to you about this one a little bit later in this video. And my sort of stack that I'm going to be pulling from is this stack here. I'm quite a mood reader, so I like to bring a selection of books that I'll probably dip in and out of, and yeah, these ones are all spooky and I'm very excited about them. So the first option we have is actually a short stories collection called At Home with the Horrors, written by Sammy Scott. So this is a collection of 14 horror stories, which I thought would be perfect because sometimes I like to snuggle up and just read a couple of short stories in the evening or in bed. So I thought that would be perfect. This is a book that I've heard quite a lot of positive things about. This is You Let Me In by Camilla Bruce. This is an adult horror book and it has one of the most disturbing covers that I've ever seen. It really freaks me out, this cover, but yeah, I've heard that this is incredibly creepy, incredibly disturbing, and I think it might have some kind of nature elements in there as well, which is something that I really enjoy in my horror. So I'm very much looking forward to this one, but I'm deliberately not reading the synopsis because I want to go into this one blind so that I can completely experience it, you know, with fresh eyes, with no expectations, and just see where the story takes me. So I'm very excited about that one. I also brought with me a T. Kingfisher book. This one is called The Hollow Places. So T. Kingfisher is an author that I am slowly working my way through. I've really enjoyed all of the books that I've read by them so far, and I've read quite a few, so that's saying something. So I just picked this one up based on the author. I don't really know what this story is about, but I know that it's a horror, and I know that I enjoy T. Kingfisher's writing, and I enjoy their characters, and I enjoy how they usually have a little bit of humour in their horror stories as well. So yeah, I'm very intrigued by this one. It also has a very intriguing cover, which definitely drew me in. And then the last option that I have is actually a young adult book, and I don't actually read that much young adult, but I've heard really positive things about this one. So this is Rules for Vanishing, written by Kate Alice Marshall. Apparently it's very sort of atmospheric, very creepy. I know it has a forest setting. All of those things are ticking my boxes. So it says on the back, once a year a road appears in the woods at midnight and the ghost of Lucy Gallows beckons, inviting those who are brave enough to play her game. If you win, you escape with your life, but if you lose, ... So those are the books that I'm hoping to pick up this week. But what I think I'm going to do now is go and sort out my dinner and things, and I think I will throw you back to earlier today because my husband and I went out pumpkin picking, which was really fun, and I got some clips on my phone, so I hope that they come out okay, and I thought I'd share them with you because we had such a fun day today. So yes, enjoy that b-roll, and I will speak to you a little bit later on. Hey everyone, so it's a bit later and I just wanted to switch the camera on and just chat to you quickly about books because I finished A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay last night and I really enjoyed it, so I really wanted to share it with you because I think this might be a new favourite horror. I really enjoyed this one and I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, so it was a really pleasant surprise. So this is an adult horror about a family who are in a very stressful situation. So you have a mum and dad and then you've got two daughters and they're under a lot of financial pressure. Their dad has recently been, I think it's released from his job, he's out of work, and so they are very much struggling to get by. And to make matters worse, their eldest daughter, a teenager called Marjorie, starts to act bizarrely. So she acts very erratically and starts to show symptoms of schizophrenia. She starts hearing voices and acting really out of character, and so her parents send her to a doctor to try and get treatment, but nothing seems to be working. And the father becomes really involved in the church, so he seeks a lot of comfort from going to church and he starts to really become very religious, and that kind of inspires him to explore religious reasons for what is happening to their daughter. And he kind of feels that Marjorie is actually possessed by a demon and that the best way to help her is to perform an exorcism, and he kind of convinces his wife that this is the best course of action for their family, especially because there's a TV show that has approached them, and if they take part in this TV show then they will get money, so they will be more financially stable. And the TV show is called The Possession, and it's basically a show that is filmed in their house, and they're filming the day-to-day life of what it's like to live with someone who is possessed by a demon, supposedly. And so they're there on a daily basis, which adds a whole other layer of tension to the family because they have to kind of put on this performance when the cameras are there, and it's a very weird and stressful situation that everybody is in, and each member of the family acts very differently and is affected in a different way, often in a really unhealthy way. And yeah, so this TV show films the day-to-day life of living, you know, with Marjorie, who's suffering from these strange episodes, and they also follow the exorcism that is performed to try and help her. And yeah, it's so interesting because this is told in a retrospective format, so it's in an interview format, and basically the younger daughter, who was 8 at the time that this TV show was filmed and produced, she is being interviewed when she is an older woman, so she is now an adult and she's reflecting on her time when this TV show was being filmed and when her sister was struggling through this condition, whatever it may be. And so yeah, it's so interesting because you're never 100% sure whether what the interviewee is saying is the truth. She's a very unreliable narrator because she was only 8 at the time, so her perspective is very naive. There's lots of things that she doesn't understand as an 8-year-old girl, and it's also been a very long time since it happened, so you've got the fact that her memory is a little bit hazy, and the fact that she might have kind of elaborated things or embellished things in her mind due to fear, but also the fact that, you know, that time was actually filmed for a TV show, and so the little girl who is now grown up, she has watched that TV show many times, and watching that is also, of course, going to affect your recollection of what actually happened. So there's lots of different layers to it and lots of different reasons why we're never 100% sure what is fact and what is fiction. And I just think it's so interesting following her perspective as a young girl because, you know, it's a really vulnerable point of view to be watching things through, and it just makes it even more horrific. The things that happen to this family, the fact that you're seeing it through such a young person's eyes. And it's also really interesting looking at how the adults act around her and how, you know, there's lots of things that the adults do and say in an effort to try and protect her or to comfort her, when in reality that often makes the situation much worse. So it's very interesting kind of seeing that side of things as well. And you also get some really interesting snippets in here which are written by a blogger. So you get these blog entries as well interspersed throughout the story, and the blogger is actually analysing each of the episodes of this TV show that was filmed called The Possession. So that's also a really interesting angle to look at this situation, because you've got someone who is analysing a TV show, and of course the TV show has been edited and has been made into a form of entertainment, so it's not necessarily fact, but it's so interesting kind of seeing their interpretation of the stylistic choices that the producers made and things like that. It just adds another interesting angle to look at this whole situation. So yeah, this was fantastic. There were some really, really, truly horrific moments in here. I think a lot of the horror comes from the characters, which felt so real, and you really do feel so close to this family, like you're almost living the situation with them, and you are just kind of slowly watching each character become deeply affected by the events that are happening, and they're all kind of breaking down essentially because they're under so much pressure. There were of course also some, you know, gruesome horror stuff in there, but I would say the horror comes much more from the kind of family and the situation and the doubt that's going through the parents' minds on whether or not they're doing the right thing, and also the fact that you're viewing things through an 8-year-old's perspective, an 8-year-old who really idolises her sister, and you know, is having to watch her big older sister struggle, and you know, the fact that she doesn't understand why the adults around her are treating her sister any differently, and she's also kind of scared of her sister, but at the same time it's her sister, so she can't ever be that scared of her because she's her big sister, and you know, she really wants to be like her one day, and she really idolizes her. So yeah, so much interesting stuff to unpack with this book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it and would recommend it to you if you think any of that sounds interesting. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking your ear off now, and I'm going to settle down for the evening. I think I'm probably going to pick up this book next, which is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall, just because I was so like emotionally affected by this one. I had such a visceral kind of reaction to the ending of this book, and was really like quite disturbed, or just quite like just very emotional by the end of this book. But I'm craving something a little bit lighter, and knowing that this is a young adult book makes me feel like this one might be a little bit less intense. So yeah, I'm hoping this one is more vibes and less disturbing, upsetting content. So yeah, we shall see. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on my thoughts, and yeah, I'll check in with you later. Good morning everybody, it is the next day, and I thought I'd just quickly catch up with you whilst I make myself a cup of tea this morning. I am actually about to head out because I am meeting a friend who is having her baby gender reveal thing today. She's doing it in a local park, and she's got a gorgeous day for it. It's lovely and sunny, so that's really awesome. So I'm going to go along to that, and then I'm probably going to go out for a little bit of a walk and just appreciate this sunny weather, because I don't think it's going to last. But yeah, I just thought I would catch you up on what I decided to read last night. Let me just grab some milk and then I'll be right back. Okay, so the book that I actually decided to read last night was Rules for Vanishing, which is the YA horror story. And in that book we follow a young girl, and she's called Sarah, and she lives in this small town with her family, but her older sister Becca actually went missing the year prior to the beginning of this book, and everyone kind of thinks that her sister ran off and just upended and went off with her boyfriend, but Sarah never really believed that, and she thinks there's something much more mysterious going on. And she is aware that Becca was obsessed with this kind of urban folklore or fairy tale that has been around in the village for a long time. It's kind of like this ghost story that tells of this road that appears, and you can have access to this mysterious road if you have a key and if you have a partner. And she thinks that her sister came across this mythical road and followed it, and she thinks that she is now trapped wherever the road has taken her. So she's kind of trying to figure out what went on, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only about 50 pages in. This is the book, by the way. I don't know why I'm holding it up now. But yeah, I'm about 50 pages into this one, and it's okay. I haven't been blown away by it or anything, but I think it's going to be really easy and quick to get through because it's told in interview format, but there's also other ways that information is provided to us. For example, there's things like, I don't know if you can see that, but like video evidence and stuff, and interviews and things like that. So there's kind of mixed media in here, which I do actually quite enjoy. It makes it a little bit more different and a bit more realistic in a way, because it's kind of like you're following a case. So yeah, having fun with this one. We'll see where it goes and I'll keep you posted. But anyway, I need to drink down this cup of tea and then head out because otherwise I'm going to be late. So I will speak to you a little bit later on. Hi everyone! So it is the next day and I'm currently on my lunch break for work, and I thought I would quickly switch on the camera while I've got half an hour spare just to chat to you about books, because I've made quite a dent into this book. So I am now up to page 225, so I've not got a huge amount to go, and I'm thinking of hopefully finishing it today, this evening. So yeah, I just wanted to update you. I can't actually remember what I've said about this book so far in this vlog, but basically we're following a girl called Sarah, and her sister went missing a year prior to the beginning of this book, and everyone assumed that her sister just kind of up and left and ran off with her boyfriend, so there wasn't ever a real effort made to find her. But our main character Sarah believes that there's something else going on. She knows that her sister was really obsessed with this urban legend which tells the tale of this kind of magical road that appears under very specific circumstances, and you can travel this road if you have a partner to go with you, and if you have a key, and if you follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules then you could be in danger of dying. So yeah, our main character basically decides to take it upon herself to find her sister, and she basically ends up going along with a group of friends to find this road, and it takes on from there, and it's presented in different media format, which I really like. Because we've got interviews, you've also got video evidence, you've also got text messages, and you've got kind of a first-hand account of what happened from the main character. So it's kind of like the Police are investigating what actually happened, and it's really interesting because there are differences between different accounts and you're never 100% sure what is real, what is made up, what characters are forgetting, or what they are perhaps deliberately omitting from what happened. So you're constantly guessing about what's going on. And yeah, I found the first 50 pages of this book quite a drag, and honestly I didn't think it was going to be for me. But then we got about 100 pages in and I started to get it. So basically, as soon as our main character and her friends kind of go and investigate this magical road and things start happening, we get loads more of the horror, and there's some really imaginative and unique horror elements in here, and the pace really picked up, the intrigue definitely increased, and I found myself absolutely hooked and unable to put this book down. So I'm so glad that I persisted with this one, because honestly I was tempted to put it down, but things really did pick up. I will say though that a lot of the horror elements are quite fantastical in nature, and you do have to kind of suspend your disbelief and just go with it. So if you're the kind of person that likes, I don't know, clear reasoning for things, then maybe don't go for this one, because this reads much more like a kind of fairy tale, if you know what I mean. And you know, some of the rules for why this road appears and some of the rules for the things that you have to do if you're going to travel this road, you just kind of have to accept, and just, you know, you're not always going to get the answers, and you just kind of have to go with it. Like, yes, okay, there's this magical road, you have to do these strange rules to go on it, and that's okay because I'm just here for a fun time. So yeah, I've really been enjoying this one, and I can't wait to see how things wrap up. And yeah, the only other thing is I started the horror short stories collection last night as well, and I read the first couple of short stories from that as well, and I enjoyed both of those. They were very entertaining and just the perfect thing to read before bed because they're nice and short. So yeah, I've also been enjoying that one. But anyway, I'm gonna go and eat some food, and then I'm going to go back to work, finish my working day, and I'll catch up with you later on. Hey everyone, so it's the next day, and unfortunately I've got a little bit of a cold today. I've not been feeling too good, but I wanted to hop on here and give you a little bit of an update. So I have now finished Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall, and I really enjoyed this one. This was a wild ride. Honestly, I couldn't predict where it was going. The plot was so compelling, and I think I went into this one with quite low expectations because I've had not great experiences with YA fiction recently. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the YA books that I've read I haven't really been that into, and I've been feeling like it's not really my genre anymore. But this one I really enjoyed. I liked how weird it was. I liked some of the spooky imagery in here, and I just thought it was a really fun time. It does have a fairly open ending. I feel like it leaves room for interpretation, so if that's not your thing, you might not necessarily get on with this one. And as I said before, it is very fantastical in nature, and you kind of have to just go with it and not ask too many questions and not look for logic in this book, because it's not a logical story, it's a fantastical story. And I think as long as you keep that in mind, I think you'll have a really fun time with this one. At least I did. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And then I've also started this book, which is You Let Me In, written by Camilla Bruce. So I have read the first 50 pages, I think. So I've made a little bit of a dent in this one. It's not too long, which is great, and it's got nice short chapters. But yeah, I've gone into this one completely blind because I didn't want to have any spoilers or anything like that, or have any expectations. I just wanted to experience it for myself, and I've been really enjoying it so far. The writing in this book is absolutely gorgeous. So as soon as I read the first couple of sentences, I knew this was going to be a book for me, because it's just got gorgeous prose, and it has a really eerie and unsettling tone. So this follows a author who went missing, and she has a very dark background. She was previously accused of murdering her husband, and she's also got a lot of tragedy in her family. So I think it was her parents might have died in the past in what looked to be some kind of joint suicide or something, and so there's a lot of darkness that surrounds her history, and then she goes missing and is presumed dead. So it's been a year since anyone last spoke to her, and so she's left this letter for her nephew and niece to find, because she's going to give her estate and all of her money and everything to her niece and nephew under certain conditions. So in her will she says they can have everything if they read her sort of letter, I guess, which kind of tells her side of the story. And so the whole book is presented as her writing this letter or this story to her niece and nephew, and we follow her experiences growing up. So we watch her as a child, we see what her family dynamic was like, and very early on you're introduced to this character known as the Pepper Man. So it seems as though this this girl, the main character, could see this imaginary friend, maybe, no one else can see it, but it seems to be some kind of fae creature who is very dark, very creepy, not necessarily a good person, and a lot of the actions and the things that she does that might outwardly look like she's being very aggressive or being very difficult is actually her trying to protect those around her from this fae creature who she calls the Pepper Man, who has kind of linked himself to her. And yeah, so it's super creepy, super eerie. It has that kind of weird otherworldly fae darkness to it, and it's also quite like naturey as well, because the fae creature brings her like these gifts, like crowns made of thorns, or animals that he's made out of bones or out of twigs. So it has that kind of like earthiness to it as well, which is something that I really enjoy in horror. And yeah, it's so creepy. I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know if this might have a little bit of a double meaning or some layers to it. We'll see as we read through. It might be one of those where you can kind of interpret it in different ways, and perhaps this character is her dealing with some kind of other trauma going on. I don't know if it's going to explore that, but so far it has been incredibly unsettling, and the writing is just so atmospheric. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this one so far, and I'm super intrigued to see where it goes. So yeah, that's my little update. Anyway, I am going to settle down for the evening, and then tomorrow I've got a fun day with my friends. We're going to go to another pumpkin place, but we're going to this farm where they have these sets that they've made to look like the Stranger Things set, which is going to be so fun. So yeah, I'll hopefully get some clips of that to show you, and then I will catch you up when I've got some more updates on this book. So I am back in Cheshire now. It has been a busy week, but it's been super fun, so I really hope that you have enjoyed coming along with me. And I just wanted to end out this video with a reading update and just talk to you a little bit about this book. So I am now up to page 163, so I'm fairly close to the end of this one now, and I am just loving it so much. The writing in this book is so beautiful, and it's just such an interesting story, and I really enjoy how this is a book about our main character's truth. She is telling her side of the story to her nephew and niece, but the author also addresses that there are other sides to the story as well. It addresses the fact that our main character goes to therapy and that her therapist actually wrote a book about her and what he believes is the truth, and he believes that she suffered a lot of trauma in her childhood, and as a result of that she suffered with her mental health. She escaped into her imagination as a coping mechanism, and eventually that led to her having a complete psychotic breakdown and essentially murdering her husband. But yeah, it's so interesting because you're never 100% sure what to believe. I don't know whether to interpret this just as a pure fantasy book and to kind of go with the fact that she sees these fae creatures and you know, believe her truth, or whether to kind of read between the lines. I don't know if it's going to be one of those where you kind of can interpret it however you like, but the writing in this is absolutely the star of the show. So I just wanted to read you a couple of passages just to give you a little bit of an insight into the writing style. So I've flagged this paragraph because I thought it was so beautiful. This is a little passage about some of the gifts that our main character receives from her fae friend. So it says, fairy gifts can be many things. Sometimes they come as inspiration. Trinkets and baubles and crowns I can go without, but I find myself addicted to the fairy tea. Liquid stories delivered in jars. There is nothing like the feeling of its power unfurling inside, petal by petal, a fresh story. Fairy magic is the purest kind of magic, blending nature skillfully. Fairies know everything that lives around them, are drawn to life and death itself. They feel the essence of every bone and every tree. In my jars, an angry spruce and a melancholy willow meet a burst of happy buttercups, or the bitter decay of a dead wasp. No one knows quite how the stories will turn out, not even the fairy who makes them. That's a part of their alchemy, to never quite know the outcome. It makes it as interesting for them as for me to see how a particular blend will turn out. Fairy magic is fickle magic. There are no guarantees. I just think that is so whimsical and beautifully written. Obviously it's talking about this fairy tea that our main character kind of becomes a bit addicted to, and you could interpret that as perhaps her being given alcohol or other substances to become addicted to, but her truth is that she's given this fairy tea. And yeah, I just think it's so beautifully written. And then I also really love this passage which gives us a bit of insight into our main character's perspective on love. So it says, I wasn't so much enticed by the idea of love as such. Even back then, it never rang true to me. True love, meant to be, none of that meant anything to me. Smelled like a lie, it still does. It's just another one of those things you ought to have in order to build your life right. It's a screen to hide behind. If you have a husband, you cannot truly be that bad. If your husband is handsome and capable too, more glitter falls on you. If you don't have it, you are deemed unworthy, different and possibly wrong. Without the love of a good man, any man, you are a spoiled fruit lacking an essential stamp of approval. Never mind if you are ill-suited for it and would have been much better off alone. Never mind if your inclinations are such that living with another human being is difficult and even harmful. Live with another you must, or face eternal shame and disgrace, forever be second class, no stamp of approval for you. I just thought that was a really interesting perspective on the patriarchy, and it was just written in such an eloquent way. So yeah, the writing in here is just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really thoroughly enjoying this one. I really hope that the ending delivers, and if it does, I have a feeling this might become a new favourite. So yes, absolutely loving that one. Anyway, I'm gonna head off now because I'm sure this has been a very long vlog, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you're having a fantastic day, whatever it is you are doing. Please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a chat with you. Don't forget to like this video if you did enjoy it, and do subscribe if you haven't already if you want to see some more from me. And I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!